Yo, what up, guys? It's Derp here with a brand new Dark and Darker update. This time we're getting a sneak peek of the Warlock video by Iron Mace. It's released earlier today. Me and some guys from the Discord and from the Patreon and Guild have kind of broken down some of the stuff from the video and formed some opinions on what we can see here. Yeah. So before I get into it, this is going to be a gameplay review of this video and what we know about the class as of right now, which isn't a lot, but will give us enough to kind of theory craft about how to play this new class that looks amazing, to be honest. Huge thank you to Pidget from the Discord for breaking down all the math on the stats. This is going to be huge for theory crafting and itemizing the Warlock class. As always, huge thanks to everybody who's watching, subscribing, and joining the guild. Because of you guys, we're only 5 subs away from 1,000. I don't even know what to say about that. That's insane to me. 2 or 3 weeks ago, that wouldn't have been possible, and you guys are incredible. You're all champions. I love you guys. Huge shout out to everyone who's subscribed, who's joined the Patreon, the YouTube membership, and your guys' names are going to be going up on the side of the screen. Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys are amazing. But yeah, let's get right to the video. As you can see, the Warlock is a spellcasting class. But what do we know about the class in general? The class is all about managing your hit points. Spells cost you life instead of charges, as you can see by the little blood icon in next. So if you look at the icon next to the word your spell memory, where it shows a spell, you'll see the little 3. That's instead of charges, that's your blood cost, your health cost, or at least that's what we are assuming. But whenever you cast, instead of, it takes away your health but leaves the pool of recoverable health, right? So you can heal all that health back by resting, and other forms of healing. So managing that is going to be super important with this class. Managing your health pool is basically the entire purpose of this class. That makes it a little bit more difficult than, like, managing arrows or just your health potions or whatever. Your spells cost health to cast, so your health pool is your mana pool. But yeah, they also seem to be really, really well balanced via their stat line and their loadout. The ability to use some swords along with daggers, cloth armor, leather armor, and most, if not all, of the casting weapons gives them one of the most well-rounded loadouts in the game, at least in my opinion, especially for a caster. It's pretty crazy. The Warlock should really shine as kind of a medium to close-range caster and support that pairs well with a fighter, barbarian, bard, or cleric. My preferred group would probably be barbarian, cleric, or bard with a Warlock as the third. Buffing the strength of a barbarian would be insane, especially if they're using Achilles Strike. But yeah, that's kind of my TLDR. Let's get right into the numbers. So the stats for the Warlock are pretty well balanced. However, there may be an issue with either the high will score working against their debuffs instead of helping the debuffs. So that might be something that Iron Mace has to look into before release. Or fix shortly after release, because having a high will score might negatively impact their playability. So their strength is 12, their agility is 15, they have a will of 23, knowledge of 15, a resourcefulness of 10, and a starting health pool of 94, I believe. And the way that kind of translates into the other stats, like physical power and stuff like that, that means that they have a negative 6% physical power bonus, a 0% action speed, 0% movement speed, 0% equip speed, and then they have a negative 25% interaction speed from resourcefulness. They have a 0% magical interaction speed, and then they have a 24% magical power bonus, which is higher than wizard. They also have a negative 25% spellcasting speed, so they're one of the fastest, if not the fastest, spellcasters in the game. They also have a spell cap of 15, so like a knowledge cap of 15. They have 14.3% magic damage reduction and 8% buff duration, which might be bad because more will equals less time that the debuff lasts, and would translate into like a negative 7% debuff duration, which wouldn't be good because the warlocks are all about debuffs, right? Everything that we see from them is like either a debuff or a slight direct damage with a debuff attached to it. Like a damage over time would count as a debuff, so you don't want to nerf that by having higher will. That seems kind of weird to me. And then let's get into their abilities, their spells, and their loadout. This is what really sets them apart from all of the other classes, in my opinion. Their passives, or at least what we know about them, seem to be pretty crazy, and then their loadout is just super versatile. In my opinion, their kit is extremely well balanced while having a higher skill ceiling, because you do have to manage your health pool. And missing spells will not only waste your time, but it burns your health. So you have to hit your shots, and you have to play smart if you're going to live, right? That's kind of what the Warlock is about. It's about making smart decisions, hitting your shots, because your curses and your damage over time can give you your life back because of a perk called, or a passive called Torture Mastery. As you can see, there's a little icon at the bottom of the screen right above the Warlock 32. There's a Torture Mastery icon, and what we're thinking that is that it's a passive that allows them to leech life with curses or through spell damage, right? So their abilities, so far, we know that they have a spell memory, and then there's also an attack. The Q, right under the Q, there's an attack icon. It's not used in this video, so we don't know what it is. And then obviously the spell memory with a handful of spells. And the spells that they've shown are Curse of Pain, which is 10 instant damage, and 10 damage over 8 seconds, which is magic damage. There's a Curse of Weakness, which is, it reduces the target's base stats by 20%. And then there's also something called Power of Sacrifice that can be cast on yourself, friendlies, or enemies, it looks like, which would be, it causes the target to lose 2 hit points per second while increasing their strength by 15 for 8 seconds. Excuse me, sorry. Which kind of syncs up with their Torturing Master. The Power of Sacrifice and Curse of Weakness stack up with the Torture Mastery, which would give you that health back, which would be huge, right? But at the same time, it looks like Torture Mastery also makes it so that Warlocks can't heal with health potions or bandages, as seen when the Warlock tries to heal. And what you can kind of find out from here, looking at these screens, is that the armor kit and weapons available to the Warlock are super versatile. The kit is amazing. And to be honest, it's kind of what I love that Iron Mace is doing with this kit, right? Even with the small amount we can see in this video, the Warlock seems to have one of the most versatile and well-balanced loadouts in the game. Second really only to the Fighter, at least in my opinion. They can use some swords, including the falchion, some daggers, including the rondel. They can use all, or most, if not all, of the casting weapons, so magic staffs, globes, spell books, etc. Seems like they can use pretty much all cloth armor, like the wizard, but they can also use at least some leather armor, like the warden outfit. So it would put them more in line with almost like a spellcasting ranger, except with the capability to use, in my opinion, a way better sword, which is the falchion. It doesn't look like they can use short swords or arming swords, but we don't know about any other swords. They also have 2 class-specific armors with the Occultist boots and Occultist pants. Right now, we don't know too much about them. They seem almost like reskinned versions of other armor that already exist, so nothing's too special. Excuse me. I haven't had my coffee yet. But what else is new in the game outside of just the Warlock? So there's also some cool stuff that we're seeing here with something called moldy bread. We don't really know what that is. There's a skull that they don't hover over, and there's a thing called maggots, and there's some unknown item that almost looks like a pile of bone dust, or maybe like crypt moss or something. We have no idea because they don't hover over it. And none of these things can be equipped or put in your quick slots. And our opinion of these is, at least from me, it seems like these are either going to be sold at the Goblin Merchant, used to craft items, or maybe used for quests. We really don't know. Just kind of speculation at this point. But it does lend to... see, you can see the skull here right now in the fighter's inventory, as well as like a little stick icon in the right quick slot, the number 4 quick slot at the top. We have no idea what that stick is. We have no idea what the skull's for, the maggots are for, or the moldy bread. But yeah, Goblin Merchant maybe crafting item or quest item, we have no idea. And then also they did some changes to the crystal ball, the way that it looks in the inventory, as you can see when you opened up the inventory. And then, as you can see here, the death icon looks pretty different. But yeah, that's about it. That's kind of all we have for today. I hope you guys liked the video. As always, you guys are champions. I love you. Thank you for the support. I can't do this without you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. We're only 5 away from 1,000, and we could really use your help. So, yeah, if you want more content faster, be sure to join the guild by following either the YouTube membership or Patreon link below. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.